Obviously, it's not what you want to do, not what you want to feel. That being said, I really feel that you got to go through some of this to win.
All right, so generally as a Canucks fan, I usually don't feel the worst for the Oilers when they lose, because of the natural rivalry that the teams have had for so many years. And, when McDavid does bad, I normally don't really feel too terrible because he just terrorizes our team game in and game out. But, after their loss against the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 6 of their Round 2 matchup, you see McDavid in this interview where he was borderline crying. You could even see a couple of tears kind of go into his eyes there, and I couldn't help but feel a bit bad for the guy because, he worked so hard, he had such a good season, and it truly felt like this was a different Oilers team, a team that you could seriously consider to be a true contender for the Stanley Cup this year, especially with all the teams that got knocked out already in the first and second round. And, we could talk all we want about missed calls or, the refs and whatnot, which, you could obviously make that argument for the Oilers, but let's be real here. The refs are pretty bad normally for both sides. And, when you're watching it from an unbiased perspective, that's normally the case. So I'm not going to go there. Obviously, when we're talking about the Pietrangelo versus Draisaitl situation, I'd probably have to side with Draisaitl because what Pietrangelo did was just completely uncalled for, but that's beyond the point. The Golden Knights won because they were the better side through the 6 games. What I wanted to talk about was the lack of support that McDavid has been receiving from his teammates, especially the supporting forwards that should be putting up more points. And I'm talking about guys like Nugent Hopkins, guys like Kane, and guys like Zach Hyman. These players are supposed to be chipping in relatively frequently, especially after you look at the numbers that some of these players were able to put up during the regular season. Look at Nugent Hopkins. He got over 100 points. Zach Hyman, point per game. And, Kane was injured for half the season, but you look at what he got, 41 games played, 28 points. That's not terrible. But all these players were kind of ghosting in the playoffs. It was pretty bad to see if you were an Oilers fan. And you got to wonder, man, what happened to these guys when it mattered the most? I feel like I'm looking at the Leafs 2.0 here. It's just a bunch of guys that can't show up when it truly matters. They're chipping in when they can, when McDavid and Draisaitl are feeding them backdoor for an empty net. But, when the top 2 players on your team are getting double or triple teamed almost every shift, you're someone that has to be stepping up. And I do feel like that's something McDavid is pretty upset about, even though he isn't going to go on air and say that sort of thing, call out his teammates because he is the captain and it's not the most honorable thing to do. But it's got to be a contributing factor to his level of frustration and sadness as a result of this season, which, has been quoted numerous times as a quote-unquote failed year for the Oilers. So I don't know, man. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys all think of this interview and, McDavid's reaction to it all, because we really haven't seen him get this emotional after a playoff loss ever. So it's crazy. We're going to be seeing McDavid get over 200 points next year. I'm calling it now. But yeah, no, all jokes aside, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be sure to catch you guys all in the next one. Peace out and take care.